In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a lion out of some paper. So first what we're going to need is a big piece of paper. Any kind of paper will do. You just need a big piece of paper for your background. You can make it smaller if you want. Just keep in mind that you have to kind of scale down your lion. You need some orange paper, some yellow, yellow and orange. Got that mixed up, got that backwards there. Yellow and orange paper. If you don't have either, you can always color it in, you can paint it. Another fun thing to do is instead of using the orange for the mane, you can use a paper sack and kind of color that and paint that. That could be really cool that way. Otherwise, if you want to do it simply, you can just do it with paper like this. And some scissors, some glue, and a marker. So the first thing you want to do is draw yourself a big head. So I used a template for my lion's head. So I'm going to make a really big lion's head here. I'm going to use most of my paper up. So I've cut out a head. So if you think it's a little bit too big, you can always trim it. Sometimes it's a little bit bigger than you think you might need, so you can always just trim it down just a little bit, but you do want to make sure that you have a nice big lion's head. Okay, then I'm going to need, so that's going to be here, but first I'm going to need to make his shoulders. So this is the lion's body, so I went ahead and made a big upside down U. Again, you can always make it, you could make it big and then always cut it down a little bit smaller if you think you need to scale it down. So all you're doing here is just make a big U shape. And then we're going to glue that right down to our paper right here. You're going to want to glue it down to the bottom. Just get a nice coat of glue there. I'm going to glue it down here. Maybe a little bit slightly off to the side, kind of like that. Because then what we're going to do here is we are going to draw a lion's tail. So we're going to take one of these pieces of paper that we've cut out with, and we're going to draw a lion's tail. So at the end, it's kind of curved, and then it curves around. Then we're going to cut it out. It's probably not the right size or shape, but we're just going to cut it out and we're going to see what it looks like on the paper. So if we have to adjust, we can absolutely do that. But I know I'm going to have a different shape here. Okay. So I have it like this, so it looks like it curves around a little bit too much, so all I need to do is kind of cut this off right about there, and that could be my lion's tail. So you're just gonna make like a big skinny line. That's your lion's tail. So you want to make it so it's coming out of the side. You can do it on either side, but if you have a paper scrap, that's a good way to use it, is to make the lion's tail out of the paper scrap. So there's his little tail. Okay. And now we want to make his mane. So what I'm going to do is, instead of using my paper sacks and painting that, I'm just going to use some orange paper just for the sake of getting it done quickly. So I'm going to make it look like that. It almost looks like a leaf. So you can do several of those, like an orange leaf kind of. So what I did is I folded a few pieces of the paper together, and then I traced on there, and I'm going to cut them out all together. And again, don't worry if it's not perfect. We can always adjust it as we cut and glue. Go to the next set here. So again, the general shape that you're going for is some leaves. Okay, my favorite part now is we get to glue them down. Pretend that there's a circle here. It might even be, you don't want to glue your head down just yet because you want these to go behind it. So you might even kind of imagine that this is kind of your center. So you want to glue your pieces down like this. Might have a couple left over. It looks like a big flower, and that's kind of what we're going for here. So you want to glue them all down. Make sure you lay them down first before you glue them. So you want to take your glue them down, and a fun thing to do is if you don't want to have them lay all the way flat, just glue the bottom part here, and then they stick out like this. And it's okay if they stick out beyond your paper. That's kind of what we want a little bit. Give a 3D look. And when you're all done gluing those down, you want to go ahead and glue your head right on top, just like that. So then the last thing you would want to do is give it some eyes. You can just draw these on, or if you have googly eyes or sticker eyes or any other kind of eyes, you can do that. You want to draw his little nose, which is an upside down triangle. A little mouth. And then maybe some whiskers. It is a lion after all. And there you have it. A fun lion made out of paper, possibly a grocery sack if you have that available, but otherwise it makes it look like kind of like a big flowered paper lion.